What's good, y'all? About to drop a video for y'all real quick before I finish out my night. Um, I just wanted to talk about, because lately it just seemed to be like, you know, I don't know what it is, just nosy people all over the place. But I wanted to speak on people who aren't able to move forward in their life because they too worried about what you're doing. You got a lot of people out here that can't move forward in their life because they're too worried about what you're doing. One thing that I always talk about in my videos, and most of my videos, is how my mom always brought up in us to always stay in our own lane. That's so fucking important. I never been the one to worry about who was doing better than me, or if you doing something that someone else is doing. I never been worried about, I don't know, someone doing better than me than anything. I've always been the one to worry about what I'm doing. Like, how do I perfect what I'm doing? Like, yeah, someone else might be better at me than doing something, but what can I do to perfect myself? And that's how we all need to be thinking about. We don't have time to sit here and worry about who's doing better and, who got this amount of money and what kind of car they driving and shit like that. Focus on yourself. The reason why you want to try to focus on yourself as much as possible is because focusing on anyone outside of yourself ain't nothing but a distraction. And what happens is, when you focus on people that's outside of you, when you take your eyes off the prize, which is you and what you got to achieve and accomplish, you tend to start to compare yourself with that person. Someone may be further than you in life, and that's okay. They put in the work or whatever the case it may be. But what happens is, you will tend to compare yourself to that person. And what happens is, when you compare yourself to that person, you naturally tend to try to find, and it's only because you're searching for it, but you naturally try to find ways and stuff and areas that they are greater at than you are. And the more areas that you find that they're better at, you start to put yourself down. It's like a psychological thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't no psychiatrist or nothing like that, but if you really go back at a time where you start to compare yourself with someone else, maybe y'all work in the same position, or y'all playing the same position on a sports team or whatever, you start to naturally find ways. Now, mind you, you're worried about if this person is better than you or not, right? Because in your mind, you're hoping that they're not. But because you're looking for it, because you're searching for it, you are naturally going to find ways that they are perfecting as something better than you. And the more of those things that you find, you will begin to put yourself down. You see what I'm saying? Because you focused on that. Like, it's okay if people are, at a higher level than you are at life, or they got more money or whatever, good for them. You know what I'm saying? But what you need to focus on is, what is it that you have to do to gain that same amount of money or more? How can you perfect your craft? How can you perfect what it is that you got going on? That's all you need to worry about. And as simple as my mom said, stay in your lane, it sounds simple, but it means a lot. And out of all the, advice she's given me over the years, that's one thing that stuck with me. To this day, I stay true to that. I don't sit there and I don't pay attention to anything outside of me to that degree where I feel like I'm inadequate or that I'm less than. I always focus on myself, and I critique myself in a way, and it's just me, but I critique myself in a way to where I'm like, Jay, like, maybe we need to work on this a little bit more. And I'm the type of person that I'm so real with myself. I'm real in general, but I'm so real with myself that I'm able to critique my way. I'm coachable, and I'm able to take constructive criticism from others. That's one of the good things about me, is that I am coachable. You can tell me I fucked up somewhere, and I'll be like, all right, cool. What do you think I should do to fix it? That's just me. But I do that with me. all the time because I care about perfecting myself. It has nothing to do with me comparing myself to other people. I don't look at other people to that degree to where I feel like I have to just compare myself. That's unnecessary. Because like I talk about all the time, we all have gifts and talents that are different from each other. Hell, some of us might have the same gifts and talents, but nonetheless, even if it's the same, there's something about it that you do that stands out from the other person, and vice versa. You know, the thing is, it's room out here. It's enough room out here for all of us to grow, for all of us to shine. You know, you don't have to sit there and try to dim somebody's light. You can sit back. When a motherfucker shining their light, let them shine it. And when it's your turn to shine your light, then shine it. Don't water it down. Don't try to sugarcoat it or none of that, because you will have haters out there and people try to make it seem. You ain't got to let nobody put you on no type of guilt trip. When it's your turn to shine, let that light shine. That's what it's there for. You feel me? Don't water yourself down. Don't try to, if somebody give you a compliment or congratulate you or, embrace that shit. Because you did that. If you know you the shit at something, then yeah, I'm the shit at that, yeah. Be proud of that. That's okay. You know what I'm saying? But you have to understand that in order to really focus on yourself and get to the highest version of yourself, to really obtain as much as you can from, your personal journey and your personal walk and you walking in your destiny and your purpose, you have to focus on you. Stop worrying about what someone else is doing and what they not doing. So what? The question is, what are you going to do with your time here that's been granted to you to be on earth, with your time here, what are you going to do with you? Because I know for me, I don't have the energy in me to really focus on what somebody else is doing. And I'm woman enough. You feel me? I'm woman enough and I'm secure enough within myself to clap for the next person. I don't ever have to sit there and turn my lip up at somebody. I don't ever have to sit there and feel some type of way because it's somebody's turn to shine or none of that shit. I have my own light. But yet I'm woman enough and secure enough to clap for the next person. Hell, I'll even cheer you on. You feel me? But I had to learn the importance of focusing on myself. And not only just learn to focus on myself, but I've always been put in a position to where I ain't had no choice but to focus on me. I had no choice. It was either I took the initiative to focus on what I had to do for me, to perfect, to really look at myself in the mirror and be like, I lack in this and I lack in that, and this is what I have to do to change it. I took initiative. I received constructive criticism throughout my years, but most of all, I was able to take initiative and really look at myself and be honest with myself, and was able to sit there and be willing to make those type of changes. You see what I'm saying? And that's where a lot of times people be fucking up at. You can't move forward because you're too focused on them. You can admire them. You know what I'm saying? You can admire them and you can, be in awe of what they're doing. But you have to always understand that you was put here on earth for a purpose. And you can be just as great. Yeah, they're doing great things. Yeah, they're coming up. You know what I'm saying? But so can you. But you will never understand that, and you will never truly see that if you focus on what the next person is doing. I'm trying to tell you, like, I'm a witness. It requires you to just simply do the work on yourself. It's not really rocket science. You just really have to put the work in on yourself. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep yourself motivated. You have to be coachable. You can't sit here and walk around in life and act like you know it all, because you don't. Even me, just like I try to school others when I make these videos and shit like that. I got people that school me behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? As long as you're living, as long as you have breath in you, life will always be a continuous learning experience. You're going to always continue to bump your heads at certain points in life, and you're going to learn these lessons. And some of these lessons you're going to have to keep learning, because we can be hard-headed as fuck. But for the most part, you are going to continue to always learn something. And you have to be willing to learn the shit. You got to be willing to shut up sometimes, because a lot of times people can't tell the shit because we always have to speak up. Sometimes you have to shut up and listen. That's it. Shut up, listen, and apply what you hearing from somebody else. Because you don't know it all. I don't even know it all. When I sit here and make videos, it's because of the shit that I've learned or shit that I'm currently learning. You know what I'm saying? I don't know it all. But I know enough to speak on certain things. You see what I'm saying? So, you got to understand, in order to move forward in your life, or the reason why other motherfuckers can't move forward in their life, is because you're focused on them or they focused on you. Admiring somebody is different than you just completely focusing on that person, to where you start judging yourself. You start comparing yourself. And you sit there and you purposely are trying to find flaws. You're doing it in order to find some type of comfort, right? Because you really, like, what you thinking, what you going through mentally, you really are in the search to try to find comfort in that. It ain't necessarily what you think it is. It's not, I feel this type of way, so I'm going to make sure that how I'm feeling is true. You're going to end up you're going to end up finding shit that's going to hurt your feelings. You see what I'm saying? That's what that's about. You're not really finding anything to make you feel like you tripping. Like, are you just tripping, like, you know, what I'm doing is better and this, that, and the third, or, you know what I'm saying? You're going to end up naturally, that's just how the fuck it is. You're going to find ways about that person or things that person is doing, and you're going to compare it to what you're doing, and you're going to find flaws in what you're doing, and then you're going to compare yourself and start feeling shitty about yourself, to the point where whatever you're doing, you might not fucking do anymore. You might just give up. And that's you doing that to you. It ain't got shit to do with that person. You focused on the wrong shit. You can admire them. You can learn something from them. But in order to truly grow and to get to where you're trying to be, you have to worry about yourself. Stay in your own lane. That's how you learn. That's how you grow. That's how you perfect something. Be honest with yourself. Like, yeah, I did a good job, but shit, I could have did a little better, you know, in this area. Or, you know what I'm saying? It's not putting yourself down, but you being honest with yourself. You really want to become great at something, then be honest at, you know, critique yourself in a real way. But you don't need to go about doing that by comparing yourself to what somebody else is doing. You see what I'm saying? Because as long as you keep doing that, you're going to always find fault in what you're doing. Simply because what you're doing isn't what they're doing. They're doing it a different way. As long as you keep doing that shit, you'll never grow. You'll never perfect something. You'll never get better at something. Because what you're doing is you're putting so much emphasis on what they're doing, and you're not even really paying attention to the greatness that you have. You don't even see the greatness and the skills that you have. How good you really are at something. You don't see it. Because you're not understanding that you're judging, you're taking what you're doing versus what somebody else is doing, and you're comparing it to you in a negative ass way. You putting yourself down low key. That's why with me, when I make these videos, there's a few people that I follow and I do pay attention to their content because they speaking some real shit. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I don't really pay attention too much because I don't want it to cloud my judgment of me and what I'm doing. The certainty that I have within myself of what I'm doing. The confidence that I have within myself, which took a while for me to gain. Because those of y'all who know me know I don't really do this speaking stuff in front of people. It took me a long time. Like if you go back in time when I first started videos, you can see the growth. From the time I started my videos up to now, like I grew tremendously. And it took a long time for me to even gain this confidence. So I don't want to keep watching people's content to the point where I'm critiquing myself based on me comparing myself to their content. You know what I'm saying? Because I understand that what I'm doing is part of my purpose. It's what I'm asked to do. And my delivery and how I'm doing it, that's how I'm supposed to give it. You know what I'm saying? So I admire some people for their content, but I don't just solely focus on it and be into it to the point where I'm sitting there judging myself and judging my videos. You see what I'm saying? And y'all need to do the same thing. Whatever it is that you're doing in your life, whatever path you on, whether you in school, whether you making your own content, whatever it is that you're doing, you can admire people from afar, but focus on your way of doing things. And that's why a lot of people can't move forward in their life, can't grow, and can't obtain the things that they're supposed to obtain because they too focused on other people. Just like they have a light, you have a light. Just like they're walking in greatness, you can also walk in greatness. You know what I'm saying? Just like their delivery is great, you can also have a great delivery. But you have to focus on your way. You have to. If you think about it, it would be boring if everybody was the fucking same. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember growing up, back when we lived in Lebanon, our group of friends, we was very diverse. Very diverse. A lot of differences. And this was back in a time where social media wasn't so big and all that. So, because social media wasn't all that big at the time, we didn't really have nothing to compare each other to. So, it was like, we was all friends, but we had to learn each other. We all had weird shit about us. Like, we all talked about that shit. You know what I mean? But we all got along. And we was all able to embrace each other. And we all learned from each other. Different backgrounds, different races, different types of culture. That's what I grew up with. And I feel like, even though that was during my childhood, it helped me in my adult life. You know what I'm saying? Because we was able to embrace each other back then. Even though we was all different, none of us was forced to feel like we were inadequate. You know what I'm saying? And it even got to the point where we all was willing to learn each other's weirdnesses. And we was all able to learn to enjoy the differences. Learn to see from each person's perspective. If I listen to a different type of music than the other, then we learned each other's taste of music. You feel me? But it didn't change who we were at the core. That's what life is about. Because we live in a world that's diverse. People, different cultures, different backgrounds, different races. And we admire, we be like, damn, that's the music they listen to. Well, look how they dress. That's how they dress. Well, this how I dress. Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, this how you, okay. That's what makes things great. I can embrace you. You can embrace me. But we still stay true to ourselves. That's what's important. You learn from me, I learn from you, but I still stay true to myself, and you still stay true to yourself. And we can still clap for each other and cheer each other on. And it'll even be times where we don't even really understand why we moving the way we moving, and when it comes to culture and stuff like that. But I rock with it. I fuck with you. You fuck with me. And that's the point of that shit. When it comes to you walking and your greatness and becoming your greatest self, you can admire those other people. You can even receive pointers from them to help perfect what you're doing, and vice versa. But don't lose sight of yourself. Especially to the point where you find yourself judging yourself based on what somebody else is doing. You looking for it. And you don't realize it, but the more you keep looking at that shit that deep, it will cause you to become stagnant in what you got to do for you. And you will start putting yourself down. It's not that person putting you down. You putting yourself down. Because they moving different. And when you do that, you fail to see the greatness within you. And then before you know it, you just start to give up on yourself. And you ain't doing shit at all. That's what happens. So, understand, you're not going to be able to move forward in your life and do what it is that you got to do if you're worried about what somebody else doing. Period. And me, I got blinders on. Like them race horses, they have blinders on. They can't see to the left or to the right or behind them. They just focused on the prize. That's how I am in real life. I can clap for other people. I can admire other people. I can take constructive criticism. If somebody has some advice they want to give me, I can listen to that. I can apply it. But I understand that I have greatness within myself too. And I'm so focused on that. And I'm so focused on making sure that I keep sight of that I don't have the energy to worry about if somebody else doing something better than me, or if somebody else has more than me. Because I know that within me, I have the power to go get more for myself, to do better for myself, to grow. And I know at the end of the day, that's up to me. It ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. You feel me? And that goes the same for you too.